Hi everybody, David here, Crazy Narcissist Ex-Girlfriend. This is part 2 of the question and answer videos. Answering questions from the last Q&A video. Any questions you have, go down below in the comment section, please, and ask me and I'll answer them in the next video, okay? This is part 2. Next question is from Jack Pummel from the United Kingdom. If narcissists can't feel love, why does all the love bomb feel so real? And I was just kind of talking about this right at the end of the last video. It feels so real because we're falling in love. We love. And I've said this a long time ago before, that no, you never loved them because it was all a lie. But that's not what I meant. We loved. We loved, don't we? We loved them, didn't we? You know, don't love them now. Try to stop loving them now because it was all a lie. But we love. You know, it's not a hard thing to do. We fall in love. We're human beings. You know, we love things. They stroke your ego. They bond with you with your childhood shame. They make you feel like everything's better in your life. There's so many things they do. That's why it feels real. Because we want it to be. Now, if you really want to get into a psychological part of this, some of us never really experienced love in our life. Some of us really don't know what love is. And we think this exciting new relationship is it. Okay? So, it feels real because you're falling in love, Jack. Because you fell in love. Because you love them. And that is not something wrong with you. It's something wrong with them. You know? And I don't think it would be a hard thing to do if we didn't have remorse and I didn't have any guilt. I don't think it would be a hard thing to do to get somebody to believe I love them if I don't, right? I mean, there's lots of people I'm not in love with, and if I was to pretend to have a relationship with them, now I couldn't do that because I would feel guilty. That's wrong. I would feel remorseful. So I wouldn't do it. But if that's all it would take, right? I mean, there's lots of people I'm not in love with, and I could pretend. I would be happy with myself, but I could do it. And they would fall in love with me if they liked, you know, things about me. They would fall in love with me. So I hope that helps, Jack. Let me know if it doesn't. ACOB412 from Delaware. How does a narcissist feel about a lifetime restraining order? I'd imagine not too good. That's going to tell them that they're a piece of shit for the rest of their life. That they're not in control for the rest of their life. That they can't do what they want for the rest of their life. They can't handle that. They want to do whatever the fuck they can, right? They want to do anything they can. They want to feel like they can do whatever they want. To have people tell them they can't, I'd imagine it'd be pretty frustrating. The other thing is they should be reminded that the reason they have a restraining order is because they're a total piece of shit. The problem is they won't. They'll justify that and blame you. But it's got to suck and good for you. And everybody out there, if you need to get restraining orders, get restraining orders. That's what they're for. If you're scared of somebody, scared for your life, get a goddamn restraining order. Because it's not right. Don't feel sorry for them. Don't feel bad that they'll lose their job and all that shit. Fuck them. Okay? They'll live on. They'll move on. They'll get by. They need to stop threatening people. Okay? They need to stop putting their hands on people. Period. It's better than what I did. I hit back. Bree Lee from California. Are narcissists so desperate they will still see me after my husband and nephew beat him up? Yes. They are that desperate, and they are that stupid, and they are that disordered. They're ill in that fucking head. And don't forget, these people love abuse. And they love to get it. I think they love to get abused. These people go back to their abuser. They stay with abusers. They discard good people and stay with abusers. So it's not surprising to me at all that your husband and nephew beat the shit out of him for being with you, and now he's back together with you. That doesn't surprise me. They're total idiots. They're dysfunctional. You know, they'll stay in all kinds of dysfunctional relationships as long as they get what they need, as long as they get what they want. He's getting what he wants from you. Stop giving it to him so your husband and nephew don't have to kick his ass again. Okay? Sophia from Bulgaria. Does it happen that you can't really point out the exact abuse when you look back, like exactly pinpoint when the emotional abuse happened, yes, it's very common, Sophia. Emotional abuse is a hard thing to see. It's a hard thing to know you're going through, and it's very difficult to explain it to someone else. So to pinpoint exactly what it was, yes, because it's not a single incident, Sophia. Okay? Now, there are single things of abuse. Like if he hit you, that was abuse. Okay? If he raped you, that was abuse. If he, abandoned you, left you sitting there not knowing what the fuck's going on, that's abuse. If he cheated on you, that's abuse. If he lied to you, right? Lied to you and says he loves you when he doesn't, that's abuse. All these things are single things of abuse. And you should be able to identify those. The problem is, okay, Sophia, the reason you feel so bad is all of it combined together. The combined manipulation, the combined abandonment and returning home. The combined I love you and I hate you. The combined let's get married tomorrow, and you wake up tomorrow and they're gone. And then when you're upset and they come back and they make you feel better, and then they tell you you're ugly. You see, this is what causes the damage to your head. So it's all of it. It's all of it. It's all of it, Sophia, and everybody. You guys need to talk about this stuff. You have to process this shit. Okay, go back and talk about all this stuff. I don't give a fuck what your therapist says. Your therapist is, you hired your therapist for you. You tell your therapist to shut up and listen. If there's something you need to talk about, don't listen. Don't pay someone to tell you to shut up. You need to talk about this shit, okay? You need to talk about it and process it and figure out exactly what happened. You know the hitting. You know that the cheating and all this stuff is wrong. But you need to process what the fuck was really going on in their head so you can know what was going on in your head. Okay? Talk. Find someone to talk about this with. Process this stuff, okay? Because it's everything. It's not just single items of abuse. It's the whole goddamn relationship. It's things you have no idea. There's more and more and more. And in 6 months from now, you're going to discover more. You're going to realize more. Okay? Brittany from Florida. Can you talk more about narc rage and what it looks like? Yeah, I think maybe I should make a video about it, I guess. I've talked about it a lot in other Q&A videos, but that's not a whole video devoted to it, so maybe I will. Narc rage. Briefly kind of just tell you what it is. Obviously, it's rage, it's anger, it's being mad. Now, we call it narc rage because it's when narcissists do it, and basically you're touching on their childhood shame. They know they're a total piece of shit. They got mass self-esteem problems. Their false ego that they build up and lie about and say, I'm this and I'm that, is all lies. They know it is. Okay? So anything you do that pushes them back into the piece of shit they know they are, they will fucking explode. It's life or death to them. Okay? And they will get rage. And this rage can be uncontrollable, violent, nasty, disgusting rage. And something that a lot of people will tell you is their eyes change. Their eyes just get huge. Their pupils get huge. And you don't even recognize them. And a lot of other people will tell you this is the real them. This is when the real mask is off. And this might be the only time you really get to see who they really are is during that rage. They're nasty, sick people. Deranged, demented, dark. Okay? So that's them. Make sure I didn't skip a question. Okay. I want me back from Scotland. And I said this last time. I want you back too. You're there. Don't worry. A quote from an expert witness, Dr. Park Elliott Dietz. She suffers from narcissistic personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. And she says, unlike an insane or mental ill person, she controls the disorder. The disorder doesn't control her. And what does she mean? Well, I totally get it. I totally get what she means. If you guys think about it, mental illnesses, particularly, schizophrenia is a great one to use. And all of them are, the patient is controlled by their illness. So they can't control schizophrenia. They talk to themselves. They talk to themselves whether they're at home or they're on the corner of the street. They can't control it. Lots of other illnesses you can tend to manage. And you might be able to get by for periods of time, stuff like that. But they catch up with you. They interfere in your life. And they tend to control it. I can understand how someone who has personality disorders in the cluster B, whether it's narcissism, antisocial, histrionic, or borderline, I understand how they can feel like they control it. Because at its very core, they don't believe something's wrong with them. They know they're just different, but it works for them. Now, in detail, when you get finite into it, they will eventually lose their job. They lose relationships, so it doesn't work. They don't see that. They may not see that. They feel that they can control it. And a narcissist would say that. A narcissist believes they can control everything. So that makes sense that a disordered narcissist would say, yeah, but unlike insane or mentally ill people, which is what it is. Anyways, I feel like I can control this disorder. It doesn't control me. It'd be interesting to sit this person down and see how successful they are in life, in parts of their life. I'm sure there's times and things in their life they can't control, and it has to do with their disorder. But in general, I can understand that because you can go through life. It can be manageable. You don't feel bad. You don't feel guilty. You aren't empathetic, so you don't feel bad for anything you've done to other people. It's easy to live with yourself with what you've done. I talk to narcissists who are healing and who believe they aren't narcissists anymore and they don't abuse people anymore. But I ask them, even then, do you feel guilty for what you've done in the past? No. So, yeah, it makes sense. From their point of view, I could see how they believe they can control it, that it doesn't control them. It's a manageable disorder for them. And even though, yes, in the long run, most relationships and jobs and stuff like that fail, but to them, they don't have a problem. I can see that. Makes sense to me. Crystal Malone from Detroit. Does the cycle of abuse quicken with the new supply because of the amount given to the last? So I think you're asking, because they abused the last person, say you, they abused you so much, now they're with somebody else, does that cycle happen faster? I don't think so. I think this is something that they did before you too. So I think this happened before you and before that person and before that person, depending on how old this person is. They always have to be with somebody and they always have to abuse people. So, if you're talking about a 30-year-old, I'd imagine they've been doing this. They have a whole wake of destruction behind them, of people and hearts broken and stuff lost and jobs and houses damaged. And this is a cycle that happens over and over and over and over and over again. I don't think it goes quicker and then slower and then quick. I don't think so, but I don't know. Thank you, Crystal. I'm sorry I couldn't help you much. Maybe I did. Eric Wallace from Texas. I know it does no good, but for self-peace and to get it off your mind, is it okay to tell them off if they come back? Of course. Tell them what a piece of trash they are for hurting you. Eric, yes. I mean, I understand in this community, and I've said it before, just leave them alone, don't say anything, walk away. But at some point, you can go back and tell them if you want. And it's kind of like sticking up for ourselves, right? I mean, we kind of have to do it. Somebody really, really, really hurt us. They really scammed us hard with our hearts. That's just disgustingly, horribly traumatic. So is it okay if they come back to tell them? Yes. And matter of fact, that's a good way to keep them from coming back. It depends how you do it. So try it without the emotion. Just tell them, you're a sick fuck. You're a narcissist. I know what you are. You need to stay the hell away from me. I'll call police. It's as simple as that. The emotional part of it, they'll like, and they might come back again. Okay? The reason they came back is because of your reaction. They know how you're going to react, and they keep coming back for it. So think about how you're acting. Think about what they're getting out of it, and change it. Okay? Mike Hodgson from Midlands, UK. What is the difference between a waify, quiet, borderline personality disorder, and a covert narcissist? Very hard to tell. I've made videos on the difference between the cluster Bs. I'll put it up there. Some of the differences between borderlines and narcissists. And we're talking about the borderline waifs the quiet borderline and the covert narcissist. Obviously very similar. And I've said this before, I say this a lot. The cluster Bs all share a handful of traits. All the same traits. There's only a few, couple different ones that kind of separate them. So all I would sit there and tell you is the difference is between the traits of borderline and covert narcissists. Some of them, I would imagine, are more emotionally unregulated with the borderline. They are constant shit. So the quiet borderline at some point has to react, has to be emotional, has to throw everything up in the air and make everything fucking horrible. Not that a narcissist doesn't do that, but borderline does it more. A borderline might quietly be very depressing and tell you how suicidal they have been. And you can look at borderlines that have cuts and marks all over themselves. Doesn't matter how quiet they are, they can't hide that. But typically the covert narc and quiet borderline is so similar. They're just so similar. That's why they're in the same cluster. That's why they share so many of the same traits on paper. I mean, it's so hard to determine. So I guess I don't have much of an answer. I would guess that if I had to study them and pick out which one was which, like I said, I'd look for cuts, marks, scars. I'd ask them about suicide. I'd ask them about very emotional questions and wait to see which one is emotionally charged more, which one causes more chaos. I hope that helps. Thank you. Reality check from Florida. Should I warn the new girlfriend? I don't want the narcissist to find out. So I know you left a very long description of your relationship, and you know it doesn't matter. Look, I can tell you that go ahead and do it or not do it. But what it really comes down to is the targets that these people choose. Just like us, when we're with them, there is a reason. And these people aren't going to listen to you anyways. They aren't going to say, oh, they aren't going to be all like, oh, I found the person I'm madly in love with. This is great, awesome. Huh? What? They're a narcissist? They're going to abuse me and run? What? She said you're a narcissist? You're awesome. You're nice. I don't know. You're great. Run away from you? Yeah, I finally found, my soulmate. Fuck, it won't help. It doesn't matter. And it almost always comes back and bites you in the face. So, no. Fuck her. If you're worried about him finding out, then don't do it. And that is a big problem with how we got ourselves involved in this shit in the first place, is we tend to help people too much. Okay? People are here on this world to do things for themselves, for their own life, for their own discovery, for their own journey. And she's on hers. Don't stop it. A, just the letter A from New York. I know what she is and have healed after years. Why do I both want to nurture her childhood wounds and want to expose her and make her suffer, lose her money, her friends, her assets, housing, go to jail, get the shit beat out of her, and die? Great question. And I know we can all relate to that. At some point. We may not all want them to die, but here's the deal. That's how I felt. And I dealt with that for a long time. A part of me felt sorry for how fucked up she is and how her life is always going to be like this, and she's always going to be in fucked up relationships, and she might have boyfriends that hit her back like I did, and she might go to jail, and she might even die, and she'll keep using, I think she started using drugs after our relationship, but she'll keep drinking. And yes, it's sad. It's sad. And a part of me thinks about her and goes, God, that's sad. I wish I could help her. I'm going to say, wait a minute. So this person fucked me up and I want them dead. I get it. So that's how I used to be, and now I'm not. Now I don't care. I really don't care. I don't look. I don't look at what she's doing. I don't want to see what she's doing. I don't give a shit if I run into her. I wouldn't hide. I wouldn't run. I wouldn't talk to her. I wouldn't tell her to go fuck off. I don't need to do anything. I just don't care. It's been years. I don't give a shit anymore. And the biggest part of it is I've healed, not just from her, but I've healed my own family, childhood shit. And I'm healing now, and I'm working on myself, and I'm making myself better, and I have a life to look forward to, a future to look forward to. So I just don't care. And you won't either. Okay, so that is a sign you've not fully healed. See, you said, I know what she is after I've healed, after years of healing. Well, maybe you're not fully healed, you know. Maybe that's just a sign that you're not fully healed yet. But it's a normal feeling and reaction to what you have experienced, okay? So don't worry. Don't worry. You're not a bad person for wanting bad things to happen to somebody, but try not to focus on it because it's just negative thoughts that's in your head, and it'll make, you know, it's just bad, stinking thinking, right? We don't want anything bad to happen to people, and you know you don't. You know you really don't. 5 years from now, you won't. So just leave it alone. Don't focus on it. Don't focus on anything about her. What I do and what I tell people to do, what I used to do, I don't do anymore, but think of, you know, the nastiest thing about that person, and that's what you think about every time you think about them. If they've had bad odor, think about that odor every time you think about them. Step Chicken from the UK. Haven't seen you in a little while. Hope you're doing well. Is it possible that many parents out there are just out there out of their depth? That they are unwilling? Okay. I can't fit all, I write these questions down and they get so big I try to shrink them down. So basically, she starts out the question. She knows that most narcissists come from abuse. And they do. Most of them come from abused homes. The people out there don't need to tell me. I know that there's some narcissists that come from not being abused. I'm not talking about them. And I don't even know how much abuse they cause. Okay? But I'm talking about the abusing narcissists that most of them have experienced abuse themselves. Is it, and she's asking, is it possible that many parents out there that raise narcissists are just out of their depth, that they are unwittingly causing damage, that they don't appreciate what it takes in patience and attention giving? So they aren't just a good enough parent. They just have little problems with neglect and not really the patience and the attention they need and all that. Is anything possible? I guess, but that's just not typical. That's just not what we learn, what we know. Could it be? I guess, but all of it's a fine line. I mean, you know, you and I could experience the same things, but you turned out a narcissist. I didn't. It's just the way our brain works. There's a lot more to it as well. They're also finding out that even narcissism could be genetic, that it could be passed down from your mother, your father. So we're learning more and more and more about it all the time, and we'll know more about what absolutely makes them and what causes them, but we know pretty good that it comes from the traumatic emotional abuse. I think that I could have been a narcissist. I think that, you know, if I experienced more trauma, more traumatic abuse, that maybe I could have been a narcissist. I got just a ton of neglect and abandonment and stuff like that. But like not real physical abuse and stuff like that, sexual abuse. So, but you know, if that happened, then I'd probably be a narcissist. Not probably, maybe, you know. Samuel Gergen, how you been, buddy? I hope you've been good. I haven't seen you in a little while. Is there such a thing as a compatible partner for a narcissist? Yeah, it's a fucking monster. That's a compatible. Let's take narcissist and fucking Tasmanian devils and lock them up in a room together and have fun. They'd be perfect mates for each other. Nasty shit, fuck pieces of shit. No, there's not a perfect one. Meaning, and I'm saying that because there's not a chance they're going to have a good relationship with whoever they are. But a perfect mate, I mean, yeah, you, me. To them, we were perfect. They don't last. So it was perfect as long as it could last, and that was it. We were the perfect mates for them. Are we anymore? No. Right, guys? No more. No more of this shit. We are no longer the perfect mate for them. Right? Good, nice, loving people are the perfect mates for us. They deserve to be alone. Their biggest fear. Okay? Thank you guys very much. I appreciate all of your support, all your questions, all your help, all your thumbs up, all your subscriptions. Please, please, you guys, help me, support me. Any questions you have, go down below and ask me. I'll answer them in the next one, okay? Take care, you guys. Support me on Facebook if you can. I'd really appreciate it. Take care, you guys. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Monday. Danny Dog Productions.